Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Your boy Mike is here, and today we're diving deep into a story so wild, so utterly baffling, so uniquely me, that if you've ever felt like your significant other suddenly decided you were last season's fashion, then tried to return you when the new collection didn't quite fit, you're gonna feel seen. This isn't just a tale, it's a saga of self-discovery, unexpected plot twists, and a healthy dose of what on earth just happened? Grab your popcorn, maybe a drink. Mine's definitely needed today. It's been a long journey, trust me. And let's get into the nitty gritty. So, picture this. It's me, Mike, right? Just your average guy living in a quiet suburb of Boston. I was happily married for over a decade. We'd built a life together, the whole 9 yards. We had our cozy routines, our inside jokes that made no sense to anyone else, our shared love for late night Domino's pizza, and the kind of unspoken communication where I could look at the fridge and she'd know I wanted a specific snack. Life was good, solid, comfortable, like your favorite old, well worn sneakers that perfectly mold to your feet. The kind you never want to take off, even when guests are over. That was my marriage, my comfortable, reliable, utterly cherished life. I was that guy who genuinely believed in happily ever after. The kind who thought our biggest marital challenge would be deciding whose turn it was to do the dishes. Oh, how naive I was. Now, my wife, let's call her Jennifer. Yeah, Jennifer sounds about right. Jennifer was always lovely in her own way. We'd been through thick and thin, celebrated milestones, navigated countless family gatherings, supported each other's dreams, and endured the inevitable holiday traffic on the I-95. The whole shebang. She was my partner, my confidant, my co-conspirator in raising two energetic kids who seemed to specialize in chaos. But then something shifted. It wasn't a sudden earthquake, more like a slow, almost imperceptible continental drift that, over time, changes the entire landscape. Jennifer decided to embark on a fitness journey. And honestly, good for her. I was her biggest cheerleader, genuinely. I mean, who wouldn't be? I was always there with a, "You go, babe," even when she was just reaching for the remote for her Peloton workouts. I'd bring her water, offer to blend her smoothies, and even reluctantly join her on those early morning jogs, pretending my knees weren't screaming in protest. I encouraged her, complimented her, and watched with pride as she dedicated herself to her goals. And she crushed it. Seriously, Jennifer transformed. She was hitting the gym like a pro, eating healthier than a rabbit in a vegetable patch, cutting out all the delicious things that make life worth living, like cheeseburgers and ice cream, and generally becoming a beacon of discipline. And the results were, well, let's just say she looked fantastic. Sculpted, toned, radiating confidence. She glowed. I was genuinely proud of her. I mean, who wouldn't be? My wife was glowing, turning heads and inspiring others. I'd brag about her to my friends. My wife's a fitness machine, man. You should see her. I really thought this was a positive development for us. A journey we were embarking on together, even if my part was mostly spectator and snack holder. But here's where the plot thickens, folks. As Jennifer got fitter, as her waistline shrank, something else seemed to shrink. Her view of me. It wasn't like she said it directly at first. It started subtly. A raised eyebrow when I reached for a second piece of garlic bread. A slightly disdainful look at my comfortable old t-shirts. A sigh when I suggested a movie night instead of a brisk walk. Suddenly, the comfortable sneakers I mentioned? Apparently, they were no longer chic enough to be seen with her new designer athleisure wear and gleaming stilettos. My existence, it seemed, had become an accessory that clashed with her new aesthetic. It was like I was a loyal old dog, perfectly content with belly rubs. But she suddenly wanted a pedigreed show poodle. One day, she sat me down. The conversation started with the usual pleasantries, a bit of small talk about the weather and the kids, but then took a sharp turn faster than a car on the Massachusetts Turnpike during rush hour. She told me, and I quote, that she had evolved. Apparently, her newfound physique had elevated her to a different league, a higher echelon of existence. And sadly, I hadn't quite made the upgrade. Ouch! It felt like getting benched right before the championship game, except the game was my life, and I didn't even know I was playing in a league that required constant requalification. It was like she'd climbed a mountain, looked back, and decided the entire valley below was just beneath her. And unfortunately, I was still in the valley, happily tending my metaphorical garden and dreaming of comfortable couches. She went on, explaining with a clinical precision that would have made a lawyer proud how she now deserved someone who was on her level, someone who matched her current status, someone who truly understood her new mindset, her new goals, her new everything. I'm not going to lie, it stung. It stung like 1,000 tiny paper cuts, each one a memory of a shared laugh, a difficult moment overcome, a decade of building a life together. Here I was, still the same guy who loved her through thick and, well, less thick, through triumphs and everyday mundane moments, and suddenly I was chopped liver because she could now fit into her old jeans. My decade of loyalty, support, and unwavering affection was seemingly outweighed by her new dress size. It was a bizarre, almost comical, if it wasn't so utterly heartbreaking realization. Then came the bombshell, delivered with the practiced calm of someone reading a grocery list. Jennifer wanted a divorce. And not just any divorce. Oh, no. This was a strategic maneuver worthy of a military general planning a takeover. She'd done her homework, consulted with top-tier lawyers, I later found out, and was determined to secure a significant chunk of what we had built together. Every asset, every penny, every investment. She had a meticulously crafted plan to claim her share and then some. And honestly, I was so blindsided, so hurt by the whole, "I'm too good for you now, you're not in my league" speech, that I didn't put up much of a fight. I was emotionally decimated, utterly deflated. I just wanted it to be over. The woman I thought I knew, the one I had loved and cherished, was gone, replaced by someone who seemed to value waist size and perceived social status over wedding vows, shared history, and genuine connection. It was like she'd downloaded an entirely new operating system for her personality, and I was simply an incompatible piece of hardware. So the divorce went through. She got her settlement, a tidy sum that would set her up for a very comfortable life, I'll give her that. She ensured she secured her share of his fortune, as she had articulated, a fortune we had built together, mind you, but one she seemed to see as her rightful prize for evolving beyond me. And off she went, presumably to mingle with the supposed elite who appreciated her new status and physique, to dance in the glittering ballrooms of the upper league she now inhabited. I, on the other hand, was left picking up the pieces of our life, feeling like a discarded gym sock, confused, heartbroken, and utterly alone in a home that suddenly felt too big and too quiet. The silence was deafening, filled only with the echoes of what used to be. The immediate aftermath was, to put it mildly, a dumpster fire. I spent nights staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, every interaction, trying to pinpoint where I went wrong. Was I not supportive enough? Did I gain too much weight myself? Did my dad jokes become too grown-worthy? The self-doubt was crippling. I went through the classic stages of grief. Denial. She'll realize her mistake. Anger. How could she? Bargaining. Maybe if I get a six-pack, too. Depression. What's the point? And eventually, very, very slowly, acceptance. During this period, I relied heavily on my friends and family. My best mate, Dave, would drag me out for a beer at the local pub, forcing me to talk, to laugh, to just be present. My mom, bless her heart, would send me care packages of my favorite home-cooked meals, usually accompanied by stern lectures about finding a good woman who sees your heart, not just your stomach. It was a long, arduous process of healing. I focused on my kids, making sure they felt loved and secure amidst the upheaval. We had movie nights, went to the amusement park, and I tried my best to fill both parental roles, even if my attempts at braiding hair were laughably terrible. I also focused on myself, but not in the get a six-pack to impress my ex way, more in a find my own peace and happiness way. I rediscovered hobbies I'd abandoned, playing my old guitar, reading those dusty history books, even trying my hand at gardening. With mixed results, my tomatoes looked suspiciously like sad green pebbles. I doubled down at work, pouring my energy into my career. Slowly but surely, the fog of heartbreak began to lift. I started seeing the world in color again, not just shades of gray. And then after about 2 years, I tentatively dipped my toe back into the dating pool. It was terrifying. My confidence had taken a serious hit. I felt like an old model, slightly dented with a questionable service history. Nothing serious, just putting myself out there. Trying to find someone who liked me for my amazing personality and maybe my killer sense of humor, if I do say so myself, regardless of their dress size, their perceived league, or their bank balance. It was about finding genuine connection, someone who appreciated the comfortable sneakers version of me. Then, out of the blue, my phone vibrated. I saw the name and my heart did a little jolt, like an old car sputtering to life. It was Jennifer. Now, Jennifer hadn't exactly been in regular contact. Our post-divorce interactions were limited to the necessary legal bits and bobs concerning the kids, which were usually handled through lawyers or brief, formal emails. So a casual, "Hey, how are you?" was unexpected. And honestly, a little alarming. It was like getting a text from a ghost. I replied, keeping it polite but brief, "I'm good, thanks. Hope you are too." I was trying to be mature, composed, the enlightened ex-husband. And then came the follow-up. And another, she wanted to catch up, have coffee. "It's been so long, Mike. Just friendly, you know? See how life's treating you." You know, the usual, "I might be regretting my life choices and hoping you haven't moved on," preamble disguised as casual reconnection. My internal alarm bells started ringing, but curiosity, that insatiable beast, got the better of me. What could she possibly want after 2 years of radio silence? 2 years of presumably living it up in her new league with her new status buddies? So, after a lengthy internal debate and a few pep talks from Dave, "Go on, buddy. What's the worst that can happen?" She realizes she made a mistake and worships the ground you walk on. I agreed to meet for coffee. I chose a public, bustling cafe, just in case things went sideways. I arrived early, ordered my coffee, and waited, feeling a strange mix of anticipation and dread. When I saw her walk in, I have to admit, she still looked good. The fitness journey had clearly stuck. She was still toned, still well-dressed, still radiating that physical confidence. But there was something different. The confident, almost arrogant swagger I'd seen towards the end of our marriage, the one that screamed, "I'm better than you," was gone. She looked tired. Her eyes seemed a little less bright, a little more guarded, maybe even a little lost, like someone who had climbed a very high mountain only to find nothing but thin air at the top. The sheen of her new league seemed to have dulled considerably. The coffee started awkwardly. Small talk about the weather, work, the kids, briefly. Then she started hinting at things. How she'd been thinking a lot about our time together. How she missed certain aspects of our relationship, the comfort, the stability, the familiarity. She spoke vaguely, almost poetically, about the simplicity of our life together, a simplicity she now seemed to yearn for. I just listened, sipping my coffee, nodding occasionally, waiting for the inevitable shoe to drop. And then it came. The full-blown, "I think I made a mistake, please take me back, I realize what I lost" speech. Apparently the elite she'd thought she'd join hadn't exactly rolled out the red carpet. The guys she'd dated were either superficial, only interested in her looks, or, shockingly, also obsessed with their own status and Instagram followers, with no real depth or genuine connection. They weren't looking for a partner, they were looking for an arm candy. Who would have thought? Spoiler alert, I did. I predicted this outcome with the certainty of a weatherman predicting a snowstorm in December. She complained about their vapid conversations, their self-centeredness, their inability to commit, and their general lack of, well, me. She confessed that the money she'd gotten in the divorce, that tidy sum she had so meticulously secured, was, well, let's just say it hadn't lasted as long as she'd hoped. Lavish dinners, designer clothes to keep up with the supposed elite crowd, exotic holidays trying to keep up with the Joneses, or rather the Vanderbilts in her mind, had taken their toll. Her bank account, she revealed with a sigh, was looking significantly emptier. And now she was finding herself alone. And surprisingly, she seemed to think that the solution to her problems, the missing piece in her now less glamorous life, was to rewind 2 years and slot right back into my life, as if I were a pair of those comfortable sneakers she had so carelessly discarded. It was almost comical the way she presented it, as if she was offering me a second chance. She tried everything, folks. The nostalgic reminiscing about our early dates, bringing up specific fond memories that, I admit, still held a pang for me. "Remember that time we went to the beach on Cape Cod and the tide almost took our cooler?" she'd say, laughing a bit too loudly. The compliments on how well I looked, apparently I'd also had a subtle glow up in her absence, perhaps from the sheer absence of divorce-related stress. Who knew? She even tried to flirt, leaning in, touching my arm, giving me that look she used to give me when she wanted me to do the dishes. It was a bizarre experience after years of being told I wasn't good enough, suddenly being propositioned by the very person who had deemed me beneath her league. My internal monologue was shouting, "Are you for real right now?" She talked about how maybe we could rekindle things, how our foundation was strong, how she'd learned so much and was a changed woman. Honey, the foundation crumbled when you decided my league wasn't good enough for your newly toned biceps and your thirst for an imagined high society. The foundation was reduced to rubble by your very own words and actions. It was like she expected me to have simply pressed pause on my life, waiting patiently for her return. I listened patiently, trying to keep a straight face as she laid on the charm offensive. It was actually kind of fascinating, like watching a nature documentary about a creature desperately trying to return to its old habitat after finding the new one wasn't so hospitable. She was like a bird that flew far away, realized the foreign seeds weren't as tasty, and now wanted to come back to the familiar, comfortable nest it had abandoned. The thing is, during those 2 years, I hadn't been sitting around moping. Okay, maybe for a little while, but who can blame a guy? I'd done some serious soul searching. I'd realized that I deserved someone who loved me for who I was, flaws and all. Someone who appreciated my loyalty, my humor, my questionable taste in movies, my slightly receding hairline, and my enduring love for pizza. Someone who didn't categorize me by league or status, but by character and kindness. And you know what? I'd found her. Her name is Emily, and she's just amazing. She's kind, she's funny, she's smart, and she loves me for the guy who still occasionally wears those comfortable old sneakers around the house, even when we have company. With Emily, there's no league talk, no keeping score based on appearances or bank accounts. It's just genuine affection and appreciation. She celebrates my triumphs, comforts me during setbacks, and laughs at my terrible jokes. She's my partner in every sense of the word, building a future with me based on mutual respect and shared values. She sees my heart, just like my mom always said a good woman would. So, as Jennifer was laying out her carefully crafted plan for our reunion, which involved a lot of talk about how mature we both were now and how we could start fresh, stronger than ever, I gently but firmly told her that I had moved on, that I was happy, that I was with someone wonderful who saw me for who I truly was, someone who didn't need me to evolve into something I wasn't, but simply loved me for being me. Let me tell you, the look on her face was priceless. The realization that I wasn't just waiting in the wings for her to decide I was worthy again seemed to genuinely shock her. It was like she'd expected me to have my life on hold, just in case her foray into the upper echelons didn't pan out. Her expression shifted from hopeful charm to utter bewilderment, then to a dawning, crushing disappointment. The silence that followed was thick, punctuated only by the clinking of coffee cups around us. She tried to argue, to reason, to even guilt-trip me, reminding me of all the good times, conveniently forgetting the part where she dumped me because of my perceived lack of hotness and social standing. But Mike, don't you remember everything we built? All our years together, she pleaded, her voice tinged with desperation. We have history. We can fix this, but my mind was made up. My boundaries were firm. I wasn't going back to someone who had so easily dismissed me, who had valued superficiality over the deep, genuine connection we once shared. The trust, once broken, was not easily rebuilt, especially after such a cold and calculated dismissal. It wasn't easy saying no. There was a part of me that felt a pang of sadness for the life we once had, for the young couple who started out with so much hope and love. But that life was gone, shattered by her ambition and her misguided belief that a smaller dress size meant she deserved a different, supposedly better husband. The past was a foreign country, and I had no desire to return. So Jennifer left that coffee shop alone, presumably to ponder her choices and the rather swift and definitive closing of that particular door. And I went home to Emily, to a life filled with laughter, love, and a mutual appreciation that goes way beyond physical appearance or social status. A life built on authenticity, not aspiration. It was the kind of peace that comes after a long, hard battle, knowing you've emerged stronger and wiser. And that, my friends, is the story of how my ex-wife tried to come crawling back after realizing that the grass isn't always greener on the other side, especially if you burn all your bridges getting there. It's a testament to the idea that true value isn't measured by external metrics, but by the richness of your character and the depth of your connections. Now, I know some of you watching this might have similar stories. Maybe someone treated you like you weren't good enough, like you were below their league, only to come sniffing around later when things didn't go their way, or when their shallow pursuits left them empty. Share your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Did they try to crawl back? How did you handle it? What did you learn? Let's create a space for sharing and support. Because Lord knows, these kinds of stories are more common than we think, especially in our society where perception sometimes trumps reality. And for those of you who might be going through something similar right now, feeling like someone's actions have weighed you down, remember this. Never let someone else define your worth. Your value isn't determined by your weight, your job title, your bank account, or your social media following. It's about who you are as a person, your kindness, your integrity, your loyalty, the love you show, and the good you bring into the world. You are enough just as you are. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. And if someone walks away because they think they can do better, because they believe they're in a different league, let them go. Sometimes letting go of what isn't meant for you creates space for what truly is. Because the right person will see your worth from the start and will cherish you for exactly who you are, comfortable sneakers and all. They won't need you to change to evolve into someone else. They'll appreciate the person you already are. Don't waste your time chasing after those who don't appreciate you or begging for validation from those who dismissed you. Focus on building a life filled with genuine connections and people who lift you up, who see your light, and who make you feel truly valued. Finally, a little bit of encouragement. Don't give up on love. Even when things get tough, even when you feel like you've been knocked down by betrayal or rejection, keep your heart open. The right person is out there, someone who will love you unconditionally through thick and thin, literally. They'll love you for your quirks, your dad jokes, your messy hair, and your unwavering spirit. Just try to be positive. Focus on your own well-being. And don't let people's short-sighted actions weigh you down. Learn from the experiences, heal, and keep moving forward. Your story isn't over just because someone else decided to exit. In fact, it might just be beginning. If you enjoyed this little tale of karmic justice and second chances that weren't meant to be, if it gave you a laugh or made you think, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Your likes genuinely help this channel reach more people and let me know you're enjoying these stories. And if you want more tales from my life, more life lessons, and maybe a few more laughs along the way, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Let's keep this conversation going and build a community where we share, learn, and grow together. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. Remember to be kind to yourselves and to others. And until next time, take care. Stay strong, stay you.